Hello, hello, and welcome back to the next book review that I have planned for the month, or for the year, I guess, technically. And that's going to be Anne of Green Gables, one of my favorite books by Maud Montgomery, written literally, what, over 100 years ago? Or about 100 years ago? I don't recall. But you should know this story. Everyone should know this story, I would think. Uh, you're probably wondering, oh, what's this? Here, what are these pictures? Well, good viewer, they are pictures from the Anne of Green Gables anime. They're puzzles that I got, and I've put them together. You're probably wondering, wait, there's an anime? Yes. Since I've been here stationed in Korea, I have found that, or I've researched and found out that Anne of Green Gables is actually pretty big over here. Like, big in Japan and everything else. And even here in Korea, there was a bookstore that had like a whole section just to Anne of Green Gables, which is surprising. But there was an anime made back in the 60s or 70s. It is available on YouTube. I have watched it, or watched most of it. It covers the whole book. It is slow. It is slow because it's 50 chapters is the whole book, but it is accurate with the subtitles and everything else. However, there is an English dub version. I don't know how many there is, but I've only found one. I don't like it because they changed lines from the book. Yeah, like the last line in the book of Anne Green Gables is, Anne says, looking out in the field and everything, she's saying, God's in his place and all's right in the world. That is a big step for Anne because in the entire book, to be frank, it covers over, she turns 11 in the beginning of the book, and at the end she's about 17 and a half, so 6.5 years. In the beginning of the book, she straight up tells Marilla, she doesn't really care about God because the way her life has been, she's been told redheaded people are stupid and not really cared for and everything else. And through Marilla and seemingly through, what was her name? Mrs. Allen, the pastor's wife, because seemingly Anne spent a lot of time talking with the pastor's wife and everything. That's what the whole, cake incident happened. That seemingly changed and developed in her that she does, in fact, care and has respect. So you could say, me being a Christian and everything, I'd say, yeah, she, maybe even got saved. You could say like that. That's how I'm taking it. But in the English dub, they changed it saying like, oh, I am so happy going to be here, and blah, blah. I was like, that's not even the line. What the heck? Although I will say the how they changed the thing when she smacked the slate over Gilbert's head. In the English dub, she tells Gilbert to go to hell. I'm not entirely against that because I would say that would be in Anne's character to do that, but if I actually, I'll be blunt, I've been wanting to make an Anne of Green Gable movie, a musical one. That's why, this and everything like that, I haven't worked on it in a long time because I was trying to see if I can adapt the whole book into a movie, and I had to stop in things several times because I realized, no, I can't. And seeing how much that anime took to develop it and everything, I was like, yeah, there's no way you can fit the whole thing in a movie. Not without changing and taking out a lot of stuff. I know there's the TV thing, which the original from the 80s, which I think is, people would say the definitive version. I know there's Anne with an E, but no. So it's just, that's why I went searching and everything. But if I included that in the movie, I would probably have a lot of problems, honestly. So it's best I don't. But that's in the future if I, eventually do get to make that, if that's still a possibility or not. I'd like to. But this isn't about the movie or anything, it's about the book. But I will say, seemingly in Japan, and at least here in Korea, from what I've seen, Anne of Green Gables has a thing. I mean, that's where I got all these puzzles. They offer these small puzzles, and that's where I got them. I talked about them enough, so I decided, what, screw it, I'm going to grab them. Because originally I wasn't doing that. Oh man, these are so dusty. But here's this one photo. I'm forgetting her name of her friend. Is it Rachel? Rachel Berry. So, that's of course Marilla and Matthew out on the porch. I tried to see if there was one of the White Way to Light, but I did not find one yet. And on the train station, waiting in the beginning of the book. This is the first puzzle I think I got. It's close to White Wave Delight, but it's not the White Wave Delight. But I think that'd be kind of the picture of what it would be like. And of course, the final one. This one, which I think was the hardest one to do out of the 4. There are more, and I would like to get more. So you could say, yeah, I like Anne of Green Gables. It's one of my favorite books and everything. What would I rate it? 10. 10 out of 10. There's nothing you can say that changed me out of my view of that. It's extremely well written. Yes, there are sequels. I have not ever touched them yet. One day I'd like to. Considering to see, like, okay, there's Anne of the Isle, Anne of Windy Poplars. There's several different stories and everything. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that'd be interesting. It's a book about, if you don't know what Anne of Green Gables is, which, okay, let's say you don't. Anne of Green Gables is about Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert, excuse me. They are brother and sister, not exactly elderly. I'd say they're, 40s, say 50s, in their 50s, maybe even 60s, depending. They decide, you know what, Matthew's getting on in age and everything. This is early 1900s. No, the book takes place seemingly either in the 1860s or 1870s, depending on, because there's a mention of someone trying to be like prime minister and everything, and people want to say it might be during that era. So it's anywhere from the 1860s to 1880s, 70s to 80s, somewhere in there. It's when the book takes place. So in Canada, that's an important thing, because that's an important part of the book. It's in Canada. So they go to send away for a boy at an orphanage, an asylum. They send someone who's going to get someone else in the town of, not of Green Gables, but someone else in the town who's going to go find a girl, to adopt a girl. So they go along with that note, and she goes get her daughter, but she was also bringing along her memory of what the Cuthberts wanted and wanting a girl. They didn't want a girl, they wanted a boy. But she mistakenly made that, got that mixed up, and that's how Anne Shirley, Anne with an E, because that's important. She wanted to make sure that's how Anne came along. And Matthew finds her because they leave her on the thing while the others go on. He finds her expecting a boy, but he finds her. And she's already all excited, thinking about, hey, I get to stay with you and everything else. I'm so glad. And Matthew takes her home because he's like, I don't know what else to do, because Matthew's very like, I don't know what to do. And Marilla's, of course, kind of furious, and this kind of freaks out Anne. Not that they're furious, but the fact that it just continually confirms another thing in her, that no one really wants her. If I was a boy, you would want me, but because I'm a girl, you don't want me. And Anne's, you could say overly dramatic, but in this situation, it's not an overly dramatic thing. She means it's a real thing. But through different issues and everything, Marilla says, okay, you know what? You can stay. And Anne does stay, and she becomes Anne Shirley Cuthbert. So, and that's where Anne of Green Gables' story follows. You see her life in the town, her friendships, and you see her mature over a 6.5-year period. And all the time you see her talk about her imagination, interested in writing, but mostly, all her imagination, imagining this and that, the goblins in the woods, or us being a fairy tale and everything. She almost drowns in a boat trying to reenact a story, but because the boat gets a hole in it, she starts sinking it and everything. You see all these different things happen. Now that's, something I like, because, imaginations and everything like that, and I'm an imaginative person. So that's just all the different stuff that goes on. But there's a lot of heart into the book, in the relationships with people and Marilla, and you just see this person grow up. And I really don't want to spoil it, but she has a lot of... Why am I worried about spoiling a book that's been out for 100 years? Because I want anyone who watching this who has never read the book, you should read it for this reason. She has a lot of dreams. Does she stick with those dreams at the end? That's all I'm going to say. Which is a wonderful little thing, and you see maturity and someone growing up towards the end. It's just a beautiful book. Go read the book. That's all I can say is go read the book. You'll enjoy it. Trust me. It's definitely a book that day I get married and have kids. I have daughters. This is definitely a book I'm going to have for them, and I would highly encourage you to have the same thing for them. All right. So what do you think of Anne Green Gables' book? let me know and tell me if you've read the other ones. All right, bye.